Welcome, grade 7 learners, to this explainer. Think about it. Learning a language is literally like unlocking a new superpower to connect with over 1 billion new people across the globe. Today, we're unpacking the blueprint for mastering the fundamentals of your Mandarin Chinese journey, and I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this material. We're going to look closely at exactly how you move from basic sounds and romanization all the way to interpreting and transferring what you know into real, everyday dialogues. Let's get right into it. Here's our agenda for today: the Global HSK Standard, the 9 levels of proficiency, Unit 1, pronunciation and tones, Unit 2, everyday communication, and finally, your concrete outcomes. Let's start with Section 1, the Global HSK Standard. So the HSK, or Hanyu Shui Ping Kaoshi, isn't just some standard classroom quiz you take on a Friday and immediately forget about. Think of it more like your global passport. It's a national standardized test focused entirely on examining your ability as a second language learner to communicate in unscripted, real-world scenarios. We're talking about life, study, and work. This means it's not just about memorizing endless lists of vocab words or filling in bubbles with a pencil. It's about actual turn-taking. It's about navigating a train station in Beijing, collaborating with international classmates on a project, or ordering your favorite meal. The entire focus is on genuine human interaction. Moving on to Section 2. 9 levels of proficiency. Your communication skills will undergo an incredible evolution as you travel down this pathway. You'll start in the basic group, that's levels 1 through 3. This is survival mode, where you move from simple, isolated phrases to truly effective communication, getting your essential points across. Then, as you enter levels 4 through 6, your fluency really blossoms. You start mapping out more complex grammar, your sentences become complete and coherent, and eventually you're having rich, smooth dialogue with native speakers without missing a single beat. Finally, levels 7 through 9 represent the absolute pinnacle of mastery. This is where you transition from standard and fluent to precise and deep communication. At this stage, you aren't just getting by, you're debating, understanding cultural nuances, and absolutely thriving in any environment. Section 3, Unit 1, pronunciation and tones. Okay, here is the essential question, and really the core misconception check for every single beginner. How exactly do pronunciation and tone change meaning? In English, raising your pitch at the end of a sentence usually just means you're asking a question or maybe showing surprise. But in Mandarin, tone actually changes the dictionary definition of the word itself. For example, let's take the syllable ma. If you say it with a high, flat, first tone, ma, it means mother. But said with a dipping, third tone, ma, it means horse. As you can imagine, getting that wrong could make for a very awkward family introduction. So yeah, the tone is quite literally just as important as the vowel or the consonant. To conquer those tones, your first step is mastering pinyin. Pinyin is the official romanization system that uses the English alphabet as a bridge to help you sound out Chinese words before you learn the actual characters. Combined with the 4 tones, this pinyin system is your mechanical foundation. Once you've got that down, you can immediately start executing basic turn-taking. You can confidently greet a classmate with a bright, accurately pitched ni hao. You'll be able to recognize your own Chinese name, follow classroom directions, and deliver simple self-introductions that empower you to connect with the people around you from day one. Which brings us to Section 4, Unit 2, Everyday Communication. Our essential question now shifts from the mechanics of sound to the reality of interaction. How do you actually handle everyday communication needs? Well, this is where dialogue review and transfer come into play. Transfer is a huge concept for us. It simply means taking those isolated, carefully practiced sounds from Unit 1 and bravely plugging them into novel, unscripted, real-life situations. It's the difference between rehearsing a greeting alone in front of your bathroom mirror and actually responding on the fly when someone asks you a question in the hallway. You're going to build a mental dialogue map around highly practical topics to help navigate daily life. We're talking about mapping out conversations around family, school, numbers, dates, daily routines, food, and common interpersonal exchanges. See, when you have a dialogue map in your head, you already know the various routes a conversation might take. This is where you practice the rhythm of turn-taking with a partner. You're testing out branding vocabulary and sentence structures in a safe, collaborative classroom environment, and you're learning how to listen just as much as you learn how to speak. Think of your learning process as a 2-step engine. Unit 1 gives you the mechanics, getting the pinyin, the vocabulary, and the tones right in your mouth. Unit 2 then takes over by transferring those skills into interpreting real, short dialogues about family, food, and school routines. Now, you are going to make mistakes, and that is completely fine. If you stumble, this is where you execute a worked correction. You pause the dialogue, fix the tone or grammar error together with your teacher or partner, understand exactly why it was incorrect, and then immediately apply that correction to a completely novel conversation. It's active, real-time problem solving. Finally, Section 5, your concrete outcomes. So, what will you actually be able to do by the end of this? For Unit 1, success isn't an accident, it happens in 4 deliberate steps. Step 1 is pure recognition, tuning your ear to identify tones and read pinyin accurately. Step 2 is a brilliant built-in misconception check, where you actively compare Mandarin sounds with English sounds to stop bad pronunciation habits before they even start. Then you execute. Step 3 is deploying basic phrases like ni hao in real greetings and following classroom directions. Finally, Step 4 culminates in you confidently introducing yourself to the room. You're building from the ground up, sound by sound. Building on that bedrock, Unit 2 pushes you to stretch those new communication muscles. You won't just be passively listening, you'll be actively asking and answering questions to cement your grasp of turn-taking. You'll pull basic vocabulary into context and interpret short dialogues to extract meaning. Ultimately, your final outcome is the absolute ultimate test of transfer, drafting and delivering your very own original presentational script. You literally go from learning basic sounds to creating and presenting original language. As you look ahead at this exciting pathway from level 1 all the way to level 9, I want to leave you with this final exit question for your first class. When you step out into the real world tomorrow, what is the very first conversation you want to be able to have in Mandarin? You've got the roadmap, you have the building blocks, now it's time to dive into the dialogue. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and happy learning.